Hey there, welcome to the Daily's Double Shot. I'm Willie Denman.
And I'm Brianna Lai.
Coming up, we'll be going behind the scenes of the Everybody fashion show, where this year over 200 students strutted their stuff for body image awareness.
Our reporter Tarek Walmsley looks on the Ave for the best Phad Thai.
Kimberly Spalding will be hitting the street, gauging students' responses to this year's Oscars.
And Lara O'Neill Dunn talks to 3 movie buffs on the good, the bad, and the rad about the Academy Awards.
Finally, Tarek Walmsley will be heading to UW Farm to see what's really going on.
All coming up on the Daily's Double Shot.
Ooh, what is that? Chinese.
Yeah.
I'll see you there. Okay.
For our first story, the Everybody fashion show features local retailers and student models of different body types. Brianna Lai spoke to these participants to find out what the show means to them.
This year marks UW's 3rd annual Everybody fashion show. The show brought together local retailers and students of every shape in hopes of raising positive body image awareness. I spoke with Cassie Hopridge, one of the organizers, about the participants and the greater message.
We are literally accepting everybody and every type of body, and if you want to straight your stuff, then straight your stuff. On the surface level, everyone's getting their hair done, their makeup done, and they're wearing these clothes, and that's great. But the message and the feeling that the individual gets to leave with is that it doesn't matter what I look like. No one's going to come and tell me that I have to lose X amount of pounds or I have to do this or that because I'm friggin' hot the way I am.
Samantha Kraft is one of the fashion show's featured models who volunteered to share her story the night of the show. Kraft reflects on overcoming an eating disorder and says she continues to struggle with her body image today.
I have stomach and intestinal problems, and in high school I was being treated for them with a medication that was giving me so much energy I wasn't sleeping, and it had suppressed my appetite completely that I stopped eating.
You see so many problems with body image and eating disorders and just self-esteem problems that really arise, especially during this time of our lives.
I do think it's great that we have it at college. I'd like to see it at high schools too. I think that would be great.
I think it's important to have students or the media to tell the story that these people that are going to be walking the runway tomorrow are proud of who they are and how they look.
So what will the girls be modeling? I spoke to each of them about their runway outfits.
I am modeling red light. I think my outfits says a little bit about me and that some people don't usually see or my friends or peers don't get to see.
I'm wearing a black halter top, satin and lace dress and black heels and earrings.
The show really is about just showing everyone who will be there that you have confidence in yourself, but it's also that feeling that when you walk up the stage, I just did that. And I probably would have never done that ever in my life.
You don't have to be 5'10" and 110 pounds to be beautiful. Beauty comes in all shapes and sizes, and we have so many models and so many clothes designers participating in the show that you can just see the whole spectrum of what bodies look like.
There's not that many events that are on campus that are this inclusive. We have so much student involvement that I think that the message, everybody is wonderful the way it is really gonna sink into the student body.
That was a really great piece, Brianna.
Thanks, Willie. Next, we'll determine which Phad Thai reigns supreme on the Ave.
Hi, I'm Tarek Walmsley, and today I'm in search of the best Phad Thai on the Ave. My first stop was Thai Tom on 47th in the Ave, where I picked up my first order of chicken Phad Thai. Next, I went to Tiger Room, located on 43rd in the Ave, and picked up another chicken Phad Thai. Finally, I went a couple doors down to Thai 65 to pick up my last order. I then headed back to the Daily Newsroom for judgment and prepped the Phad Thai for consumption. So now that we picked up the Phad Thai on the Ave, we're here in the Daily Newsroom. I'm joined by
Lara O'Neill Dunn.
And Andrew Midtrack.
And we are going to be judging number 1, number 2, and number 3. Let's start with number 1.
All right. It doesn't even look like it has peanuts anywhere in it. which is
I
kind of
think
strange.
no, there were some peanuts. They were
Little
really
small
crushed.
peanuts.
Yeah, you see, they're
Oh,
in
okay.
there.
All right.
See,
This
look
one
at that.
You
That's a
gotta
peanut.
squint.
I'm looking forward to this. That's pretty solid. I like that.
You guys want to limatize it?
Limatize.
Alright.
No, spicy right there.
Really?
I like it. Very subtle.
The sprouts are a little, I feel like because they were mixed in, they're a little less crunchy. And that's not as good, but the flavor overall was really good for that one.
Very mild. I can taste the noodles. A medley of flavors.
Oh.
Nice. Alright, well, let's move on to number 2 then. So number 2, the reddest of the 3, I think I can
Got
safely say.
some good looking chicken.
Yeah.
It really tastes like
Some
barbecue
big,
sauce.
some big peanuts on this.
Do you taste the ketchup, barbecue sauce, kind of weird thing? I mean, it's,
I don't know.
it's actually not bad.
Yeah, I can taste some hints of tomato. And just some, you know.
Is tomato paste like a normal ingredient in Pad Thai? Or?
I don't know. Oh, this looks good. I feel like
Ooh.
some people like their pad thai this way, but this is not necessarily how I like it. I find myself reaching for the bean sprout carrot salad to kind of take it off because I'm not a fan of how saucy.
I like the sauciness. You know, I do prefer number 1 so far, but it's just like. I definitely see the appeal of having a lot of sauce. It's more overpowering flavor. The other one went for subtlety. This is more in your face. Pow.
Alright, so we're finished up with number 2. Let's move on to number 3, and let's give it the eye test first, as always.
I like this color. It is not as pale as that one, nor as dark as this one.
It's right in between.
Just right.
Yeah, Goldilocks effect.
Yeah.
Goldilocks effect. Lots of peanuts on top, which I like.
Yeah. Oh, that's the division of the takeout container. I was like, what an enormous piece of chicken.
That one's really unexpected. Right? That's not sweet at all.
Smoked.
Smoked, but I feel like it's kind of, I would almost say really like peanutty.
Yeah, I definitely taste a lot
Like
of peanuts.
peanut
in there.
butter, kind of.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't chop the ingredients up super fine, because sometimes when you do that to food, then it's almost like a smoothie or something. Like, they leave big chunks of like the spring onion and the nuts, and like, look at this.
The
This
egg.
is a huge piece of spice right here.
When you guys go to the Ave and you have Thai food in mind, what are you expecting? Like, what is like, oh, I just can't wait to have, you know?
Peanuts. I'm excited about peanuts, and I'm probably hungry if I'm gonna get Phad Thai, so I want.
That's true. It's a lot of food usually.
I agree with Laura. I like peanuts a lot. I like just a good tasting meal. It's one of the more expensive things. I'm kind of treating myself.
Now we're gonna enter the judgment phase, and we're gonna judge it on our fingers, 1, 2, or 3, which Pad Thai we like best, and then discuss why that is.
All right, I'm ready.
So are you guys ready? I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and on go we're gonna reveal. 1, 2, 3, go.
Wow.
What did you guys like about number 1?
What did I not like about number 1?
Good question. I mean, the noodles were good. The rice was good.
The peppers, the flavorful spices and whatnot, definitely all blended together very well.
Yeah.
That's what I like about this one so much.
Okay, so
I don't like that it's almost gone.
Okay, so are you guys curious to know where each of these Pad Thais are from?
Very much so.
All right, so this first one here, at a pre-tax and tip price of $8.75, is from Thai Tom.
Thai Tom.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I've always heard good things about that place. It makes sense that I like it.
This middle one, at also $8.75.
Same price?
Yeah, same price. This one is from Thai 65.
Thai 65.
And finally, last but not least, from Tiger Room.
Tiger Room.
Okay.
Tiger Room.
I like puns in my places, so Tiger, T-H-I.
And actually, this one was $7.70, so you save $1 by going to Tiger Room.
Wow.
Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up for this week's Best on the Ave for Pad Thai. Thank you guys for joining me.
Oh, it was very fun. Thanks for having us.
And we will see you back next week right here.
Wow, that really looked good. You can find Thai Toms on 47th and University Way. Up next, Kimberly Spalding hits the street to find out how students felt about this year's Oscars.
The 82nd Annual Academy Awards are on this Sunday, so we're going to go around campus and ask a few students their opinion on the Oscars. So, do you guys like watching the Oscars?
No, not really, actually.
Yeah, I like watching the Oscars.
No. I'll watch it if it's on, or like if I hit it on accident.
Probably not.
I didn't even know what was going on, but now that you tell me, I'm a little excited.
Excited about the upcoming Oscars this week?
I
am mostly isolated from most of the media of the world, unfortunately.
Are you excited for the Oscars this weekend?
Yes.
Are you gonna watch them?
Probably not.
Do you know anything about like who you'd want for Best Actress to win this year?
What movies came out recently?
Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side, Helen Mirren in The Last Station, Carey Mulligan in An Education, Gabri Sidby in Precious, and Meryl Streep in Julie and Julia. Who do you think will win?
Good old Meryl Streep.
I did not watch any of those movies.
Sandra Bullock.
Meryl Streep, I think, should win that one for sure. So
I like to see, who's winning what and kind of keep up with it, especially Best Picture.
What do you think is going to win this year?
Probably Avatar. Personally, I liked Up a lot. That was a good movie.
I think Avatar will probably win.
I'm gonna guess Avatar.
Inglourious Basterds should win, but Avatar will win.
I don't know who's going to win, but I like District 9 out of those. Yeah. I think it has a good message.
Yeah, I also enjoyed District 9, and Inglourious Basterds was hilarious.
So Avatar, The Blind Side, District...
Avatar.
The Blind Side.
Yeah. I didn't see Avatar.
I did. I had not seen Blindside. But Blindside wasn't in 3D or IMAX.
I just don't think they reflect the opinions of most viewers of movies. They're an industry award, and then we all sit down to watch them without really knowing what's going on,
So it looks like quite a few UW students weren't so sure about the upcoming Oscars, but I know I'm excited to watch them. Reporting for the Daily Zovil Shot, this is Kimberly Spalding.
I hate to say it, but I'm an Avatar fan. What do you think, Brianna?
I really liked Up, didn't you?
Maybe we should just let the experts handle it. Here's Laura with the good, the bad, and the rad.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Rad, where this week we're talking Oscars. Here to help me out we have Austin Arias, a junior pursuing a degree in political science. Austin's seen 9 out of 10 of the Best Picture nominees and 5 of them in the past 24 hours. Tabitha Bronsema, a senior with a double major in communication and American Indian Studies and a student documentarian currently working on a film about art and identity. And Drew Dolly, who is finishing his major in English and is the president of the Pacific Film Academy. And you can catch him on Sunday mornings on Rainy Dog Radio. Thanks so much to everybody for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.
All right, this year we are all going to be watching the 82nd Academy Awards. Do you guys think that winning an Oscar still means as much now as it did 20 or 30 or even 50 years ago? And do you think that the Oscars as a whole are still relevant to the film community? And are they good, bad, or rad?
I think it's important to specific films, especially the films that have been overlooked for the past year. The Oscars is a great venue to publicize your film and make it more popular than it was before, especially for these indie films coming out.
I think it's very good for documentaries. I think there's a birth of them, but people don't really get to see them. They don't get to know much about documentaries. And when the Oscars come out, you do have a handful that get some glory, and then you have a little bit of overspill into that whole community. So I think it's a very good thing.
So a documentary wins an Oscar and then people are like, oh, I like documentaries.
I like documentaries. I'm gonna go watch some more. And you do see a spike. So it's really good.
Yeah, I think the Oscars are good. I think also one of the reasons is for the future, because, like, to use an example from the nominations this year, is In the Loop was a really brilliant but little seen British film, and that was nominated for Adapted Screenplay, and because of that, someone 20, 30, 50 years later will look back at these Oscar nominees and say, what is In the Loop? What is that movie? Watch it, and then they'll discover something that otherwise might fade into obscurity.
So for recording history, you'd say the Oscars are rad.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Very rad.
One thing that we're going to see this year that's been different from previous years is that they've expanded the Best Picture nominee pool from 5 movies to 10 movies. Do you think that this change has been good, bad, or rad?
I'm going to say that the change has been bad, personally, because I think that the reason why we had the change was because The Dark Knight wasn't nominated last year, and this was kind of the producers wanted to expand the range of nominees, and you kind of end up with this really just random assortment of films. Like, you have 2 war movies. One, The Hurt Locker, is very realistic. The other is kind of this ridiculous, revisionist fantasy, Inglourious Basterds, and you have The Blind Side and Precious.
I feel it's bad as well because it's really going to split the Oscar votes. And so you have the potential of getting a very mediocre film because it got a mediocre number of votes. So an exceptional film that might be a little bit more controversial, like perhaps Precious, it's going to be, fingers crossed, it won't be, but it might be overlooked for something like that because it's a little bit more difficult of a film and it perhaps even something like The Blind Side would get more just because of the way the voting is set up. And I don't feel that's very good at all. I do think it's bad.
I think it has the potential to be definitely rad. With so many nominations, you have movies that people generally disrespect, like The Blind Side getting in, and people are upset that that might taint the Oscars. But on the other hand, you have a lot of really interesting movies that would otherwise not be nominated for Best Picture, maybe Precious or An Education, that are very good movies and that people would usually overlook, now getting a chance to be in the spotlight.
Do you think that the idea that films that you consider not excellent, like the fact that mediocre films have been let in, like The Blind Side, for example, do you think that maybe you guys think they're mediocre, but the general public, you know, they've gone to go see them more at the box office, so it's going to maybe bring more viewers to the Oscars themselves? Do you think that that is good, bad, or rad?
It's very Machiavellian. The Oscars is not a popularity contest in that respect. For that, you have to go to the Teen Choice Awards.
That's true. Teens do vote for those. Maybe you guys will agree that this year's biggest movie showdown is going to be between Catherine Bigelow's The Hurt Locker and James Cameron's Avatar, and these two directors are actually ex-husband and wife. What do you think about the rivalry, and is it good, bad, or rad?
The rivalry isn't really much of a rivalry in reality because they were, a couple years after they were divorced, they did a film together. So I don't think there's really any bad blood. But it seems like the rivalry is just between the Hurt Locker and the Avatar, the films themselves, because they're very different films. And Avatar, it was very expensive. It was like $300 million budget. Hurt Locker was about $10 million. And I think the conversation people should hopefully be having is whether Avatar is really worth that.
I think it's rad in that it is bringing more exposure to the race between those two films specifically. Not that Avatar needed any more publicity, but The Hurt Locker certainly did, and it's a beautiful film. And I think just as a woman and a woman director, it's great to see this sensitivity that's brought to a film like that, which I can't help but think that if James Cameron would have directed it, there would have been explosions and body parts flying everywhere. But there was this sensitivity in this film that's absolutely beautiful. So I think it is rad. It's bringing that attention to that film specifically.
It is disingenuous to manufacture controversy to publicize films. But in the Hurt Locker's case, I think it's very important because we haven't seen a lot of films about the Afghan or the Iraq War that have met both commercial and critical success.
The Oscar red carpet is one of the biggest fashion events of the year. What are you guys expecting to see people wearing, and do you think the focus on fashion at the Oscars is good, bad, or rad?
I'd say it's good and bad because I'm personally pretty disinterested in it. I don't think it's really very important, but I understand that brings in a lot of people to watch the Oscars, and that's one of the reasons why the Oscars is always a big deal.
I'd say rad for the viewing audience, bad for the people that actually have to experience it. I can't imagine being critiqued that way. Just off the top of my head, I think of Monique, who is up for Best Supporting Actress in Precious, and she is very adamant about never shaving her legs, and how much controversy that brings. At the Golden Globes, it was a huge issue, and I'm just thinking it's going to happen this year too, and I'm halfway expecting her to wear a mini skirt just to flaunt it a little bit.
I would much rather have the focus on the films presented than Monique's legs. But I guess that's just part of the beast.
All right, so it's the end of Oscars night. They're about to announce Best Picture. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win?
I think The Hurt Locker is going to win. And if it does, I'll be very happy. It's a great film, and it definitely deserves it. My dark horse for the night is going to be Precious. And I think that Lee Daniels might surprise a lot of people, whether taking home Best Picture or Best Director. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed.
I'm going to go with Hurt Locker as well, both the one that I choose and the one that I think will win. What could surprise us is unfortunately Avatar. I think there's something about that glitziness. You saw it in Titanic, a totally schmaltzy movie, but it was this epic James Cameron produced piece. And I think that Avatar might do that. I think the little blue Smurfs on a different planet might actually win an Academy Award, which I find completely bad. No rad in that at all.
Yeah, it would be embarrassing if Avatar were to win because it's...
Embarrassing for who?
Embarrassing for the Academy, I think, because the film, seems like it was written by a 9-year-old child. It would be an embarrassment for the Academy. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Hurt Locker is a safe bet right now, and I'm totally happy with that win. I'd probably pick A Serious Man over that, but that's got no chance, and I'm happy with The Hurt Locker winning that. And Best Director, I'm very excited to finally have a female Best Director winner, so it's been long enough. So.
And I wouldn't entirely discount A Serious Man because the Coen brothers carry a lot of weight in the Oscars and in general. So.
Yeah, I think since they've won recently, though, it's unlikely it'll happen. But I'd be very pleased if it did. So.
That's about all the time we have for this week. You can check out the Oscars this Sunday, and we'll see you next time for more of the good, the bad, and the rad.
Thanks, Laura. I'm definitely looking forward to Oscar night. Now, here's Tarek at the UW Farm.
I went down to the UW Farm to take an inside look at what goes on here every day, how it all started, and where it's headed next.
4 or 5 years ago, a group of about 5 students and faculty were looking at this spot here, which was basically just bare dirt, and said we should have a garden here. It's ridiculous to have bare dirt. So they put in a ton of work, and they did what's called double digging.
It was an excellent experience to just get free license to expand and garden where you wanted.
Right now we're at a point where there are so many people involved with the farm and so many people who are wanting to do work. We're really, searching for things for them to do.
And so what we're trying to do with that energy now is move on to a new spot. We're trying to get more land because you can only grow so much food on 1/3 of an acre. And so we got our eyes on Fogey Field right over there. It's a little less than an acre. And we're in the process of developing a plan how we would use that space to take to the Campus Landscape Advisory Committee.
The Campus Sustainability Fund is one of the most amazing things that I've heard about. It takes, everyone pays into it. I think it's $5 to $10. We can get grants for up to $60,000 to do things like expand, maybe buy something that we really need here.
We want a bigger farm. We want a farm that can support a vast array of educational opportunities for students and can also produce food for the HFS. HFS has basically said they'll take any food that we can grow for them because it's great, right? It's local, it's organic, it's student grown.
There's so much urban space that can be gardened, and when you grow your own food in your yard, your carbon footprint just goes down exponentially.
We've expanded into all around the greenhouse here, out front, what we call the back 40 back there, which is certainly not 40 acres, but it's a hell of a lot more space than we used to have.
Unfortunately, there's a bunch of trees here, which, I love trees, everyone loves trees, but it means that we can't grow anything that well. So instead of using this area to make more beds for growing plants, we're just going to use this area to just make a lot of compost. This is part of our compost system. We do a lot of different types of composting here. It's less efficient to do so many different types, but it's a great educational experience.
We've expanded the diversity of things we actually do with our hands, and kind of most importantly, we've expanded the educational facets of the farms.
The Botany Greenhouse, located just beside the farm, is also an important educational facility. Doug Ewing, who manages the greenhouse, was kind enough to give me a quick tour.
There are 4 rooms with teaching collections, and let's go in one and look at it. This is one of our warmer tropical rooms, and has a lot of plants that are economically important. We show visitors coffee, chocolate. This is the world's largest seed. Sometimes people call it the double coconut, but it's a palm tree from the Seychelles Islands. This specimen I've been growing for more than 25 years, and it's gotten some size. It has these really cool looking leaf scars. These are roots. So as this thing grows and gets taller, it keeps dropping roots that'll go down, in some cases, 100 feet. We have in this room a lot of the epiphytes, the plants that grow on the side of trees. Little trigger hairs down inside the leaf. And you have to tickle them a couple of times to get it to activate the trap. Every day is different in terms of what's going on with the plants. We don't have coursework in how to grow plants. That's where groups like the UW Farm really have sort of blossomed, because that's one of their strong interests.
So we have different colleges, different schools, different departments all coming down and learning about things they're studying through hands-on work at the farm.
We have a cob oven event. Every month we get, anywhere between 20 and 40 people out here just making pizza and hanging out. This is what really got the UW Farm on the map as something that we did. We built this and everyone likes it and everyone uses it, so everyone's happy about it. On this table right here, we just have like 20 people standing around rolling out pizzas, throw it in there, and it takes like 2 to 3 minutes to cook, pull it out, and everyone gets a slice. This is our herb spiral, and it's kind of cool because it's right next to the cob oven, so that when you're making like pizzas and like fancy things, you can just come over here and get some rosemary, sage, oregano. Higher up, it's a different microclimate than down here. So you put the ones that like it a little bit drier up here, and then the water seeps down. And so if they need it wetter, they'll go down here.
We're not slowing down. We are a tidal wave right now, and we're not going anywhere. It's the year of urban agriculture for Seattle, so we're trying to capitalize on that. And we are getting kind of an exponential growth in student energy at this point. We have, like I said, about 15 people every Monday morning at 7:30 get down here. They don't get credit for it, they don't get money for it.
The UW farm has been coined a do-ocracy, and down here we do things.
Pizza in 2 to 3 minutes? You think they deliver, Brianna?
I don't think so, but next week Friday they're having a Cob Oven Square Dance fundraiser.
For more information on the UW Farms, visit their RSO website.
And that's it for this week.
Thanks for watching the Daily's Double Shot. We'll see you next week.